What's going on, Blazers fans? Welcome in to the Blazers Uprise podcast. We got a new stream overlay. We got stream upgrades. We can mess around with this in the future.
Whoa.
Eric, it's a surprise to Eric. But yeah, see, I told you I was working on some stuff, Eric. That's why I'm going live so late. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and I can mess around with some different overlays and that type of thing. I gotta fix the YouTube view counter here.
Got a new hat too. Looks like
Got a new hat at the Blazer game. Yep. So my internet had been down for over 24 hours. That finally got restored last night. That was a very frustrating experience. I wanted to get more of a head start on like setting up this type of stuff because I did have this plan for Wednesday, pushed it off to Friday. So it's not even like fully complete. I will have more for you guys tonight that you guys can discover on your own. That'll be in the post game stream. Just a couple little additional things. One thing will be obvious. One thing you guys will have to find out for yourself. So this is we're gonna deck it out. As I said, we're always looking to upgrade things here at Blazers Uprise. We're always looking to take things to the next level. So that's what we're doing right here with this. Hopefully you guys enjoy the overlay. So anyway, it's 419, so we got to hop straight into picks against the spread. Wasn't able to make the sliders for these, but got the graphics and all that. So anyway, our records. Here we go. Everybody had a good day on. I forgot to change it to Wednesday. It says Monday. That's supposed to say Wednesday. Everybody had a good day on Wednesday. Chat, you guys went 6-1. That was your best day of the entire season. Me and Eric went 5-2 though, so you didn't gain that much ground. Chat, you guys are now tied with me. We're only 7 games behind Eric. Eric's been like super confident, but he's not that far ahead. That's like a day or two, and we can make up ground like that.
get above 500 before you start talking.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. He's being confident like that, but it can change like that because we're only 7 games behind here. And that's our records for January. So, chat, you've done just as good as Eric in January. I've been struggling in January. I've been in a slump, but kind of breaking out of it. 2 good days in a row. So anyway, moving on to our first game. Do not look at the score either. Do not cheat. I ask you guys not to cheat.
For the record, I'm for chat beating you guys, or beating you, Tori.
I'm for chat beating you and me beating chat. So, anyway, first game we got Detroit versus Toronto. This game is being played in Detroit. Toronto is favored by 4.5 points. I'm doubling down on Toronto because Detroit sucks. Toronto's a good team. They did play last night, but 4.5 points is not enough. Pistons don't really have much of a home court advantage. That's a easy double down bet for me. There was some other easy double down bets that I saw, but that's the main one right there.
Wow, not a single person voted for Detroit. That makes it easy. Thanks, guys. So I was thinking about doing the double down for chat being whatever one has the biggest differential in votes, if that works for chat, or do you want us to just continue to pick
Let's
like
just
one?
do that for today. We can switch it up each podcast. It's not like that.
Right.
You know, it's not that serious.
But I think they're going with Toronto.
All right. They'll probably all go with like a couple other picks too.
We just said not to look. Don't tell us that the Pistons are up right now.
Yeah. Come on, Trevin cheating. Yeah, I know chat would have went with Toronto. I know the obvious pick is Toronto. Your pick is Toronto. So, I mean, I'm not even really worried about this game. I think the next game hasn't started yet, though, because the next game is in Houston. So I assume it hasn't started yet. Because they wouldn't start at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So anyway, we got Rockets versus the Mavericks. I forgot to change the spread on that. I rushed the graphics before that. What was the spread on that game?
It's 8 in favor of Houston, and Doncic is out for 6 games at least.
All right, I'll type
the
Houston.
Spread is
negative 8 in chat. Oh, I'm on my personal account, not my Blazers Uprise account. Yeah, so Houston is favored by 8. I'm rolling with Dallas because even though they don't have Luka Doncic, they've played well without him. Houston has been playing like crap lately. We just exposed them once again. Had a great game against them that I went to, and it was a ton of fun. Let me just say that. Really good atmosphere too. It was a great game. But yeah, I'm going with Dallas for this one.
I'm going to take Houston with Luka out. I know they played well last time he was out, but I just have a feeling the Rockets are going to play well tonight.
Alrighty. Sorry. I was messing with something. There we go. Put in Houston for them. What's chat going with?
Still, there's a lot of votes, so
All right,
I'm
have fun
counting.
tallying it
Yeah.
up. Houston is without Capella, says Zacho. So interesting game to watch there. We got Brooklyn going against Chicago. This game is being played in Brooklyn. Brooklyn is favored by 5.5 points. I'm rolling with Brooklyn. Chicago screwed me over on Wednesday, so everybody was picking Indiana because Indiana was favored by 8.5 points. They're like, Victor Oladipo's coming back. Victor Oladipo's coming back. I'm like, he's gonna struggle, and they're missing other guys, so I'm gonna take Chicago, right? Well, Victor Oladipo struggled. He was 2 for 8, and the game went into overtime. So like I was looking like the smart one there, but then Chicago completely folded in overtime and lost by 9, so I didn't even get rewarded for it, and you guys did. Even though the game was close because it went in overtime. I was mad about that one. So now I'm picking against Chicago because they completely blew it in overtime for me. I'm taking Brooklyn.
I'm gonna take Chicago. I hate Brooklyn, so I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you're
keep
the
voting
Brooklyn
against them.
hater. I don't know if you've picked Brooklyn once this year. Alrighty.
Um, and for people who say like change to Mavs, it's like impossible to keep up with what you originally voted for and then changing your vote. So
Yeah.
it's really
Well, you
hard.
just subtract one from
No, I know, but
Houston
like
and add one to Dallas. But yeah, that is tough.
this is close.
That is tough. You might have to flip a coin on that one. Eh,
I'm gonna, yeah, I think it goes back to the Mavs because of that one change vote, if I counted it earlier. So
yep.
that was really close. Though.
Chicago and Brooklyn is close too, but I think it's Brooklyn. Next game we got New Orleans. Zion Williamson against John Morant, the number 1 overall pick versus the number 2 overall pick. I want John Morant to ball out on Zion Williamson because John Morant, that's my guy. This game is being played in New Orleans. New Orleans is favored by 7.5 points. Memphis is missing Jaren Jackson Jr. and you said Brandon Clark.
Yeah, and Melton might be out too. He was
Okay, yeah, Melton's been very underrated for them this year. So they're banged up. I didn't know that before this pick. I might have picked New Orleans, but still, Memphis has John Morant, Valanciunas, Dylan Brooks has been killing it, so I'm rolling with Memphis there.
Yeah, I liked Memphis when the spread was lower and then it went up even higher. So I'll take the 7.5 points there.
Alrighty. Vote in the chat. Here we go. We got Milwaukee playing the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets are beat up. And that's why the spread is so big, because normally you wouldn't see a spread this big, but Denver's also playing on a second night of back-to-back. That factors into it, so Milwaukee is favored by 12.5 points. I'm rolling with Denver. I think they'll find a way to keep it between 8 to 12 points. Denver's been kind of competitive with all their injuries. They still have played a decent brand of basketball. We'll see what happens with this game, but I'm taking Denver.
I'm gonna roll with Milwaukee in this one. I just think Denver played last night. I think it's going to be a blowout here with Giannis coming back.
Alrighty. Phoenix, OKC. I should have probably doubled down on this game, but Phoenix is favored by 1. I'm taking the Thunder. Right? I don't understand why the Thunder keep. The Thunder have been consistently like undervalued by Vegas. Before the season, with their over-under win total being 32 games, and right now they're at, 29? Like, they've almost passed that before the All-Star break. I mean, you look at this game right here, I have no idea how Phoenix is favored. I'm assuming OKC's missing someone? Is OKC missing someone yet?
No, I looked. It only said Ferguson was the only one out that
Yeah,
I
so I
saw.
don't understand why Phoenix is favored to beat the Thunder unless they think Devin Booker's going to drop 70 points again because he's mad about not making the All-Star game. And we'll talk about maybe the All-Star picks a little bit later. But yeah, I don't understand. I got the Thunder.
I'm taking the Thunder. This is my double down. Yeah, Phoenix is one of those teams like Brooklyn to me. I don't like betting for them. So
Yeah.
anytime I'm getting a point, I'll take it. And chat's really messing with me. I think they're doing it on purpose.
What?
People are saying like they'll pick one team and they'll be like, "Oh, actually, maybe I'll take this or whatever." But like, I don't.
Yeah, don't make
I don't
this
know.
hard
They've
on
already.
Eric, guys. Don't make this hard on Eric because he'll try and do his best to figure out which
And
team
then
you
someone
pick,
will
and then
question whether
somebody
I
will question.
picked the
I
right
wish,
one.
you know what they need to add to YouTube? They need to add a feature where I
A
can
poll.
a poll like in the live chat. I don't know why they wouldn't have something like that, and I can like have multiple polls going at one time, and like as the games pop up, I could say poll, and then people could vote in the poll. And you would literally just have to look at the poll. Like that would be
Right.
so
That'd be
so
yeah.
nice. You wouldn't even have to say anything in chat either, which would make it a little bit nicer. But right now, this is how we got to do it. So anyway, going on to the last game. This is the Lakers' first game since Kobe Bryant passed. They're favored by 13 points over the Portland Trail Blazers. I think that spread is a bit high. I'm rolling with the Blazers. The Blazers have been better lately. They looked good against Houston, and that was a healthy Houston team. I think. When did Capella get hurt? Did Capella play that game?
Against the Blazers?
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Didn't he
Yeah,
start?
yeah, he did play. He
Yeah.
didn't play a lot, but he only had one basket too.
Yeah, he's not a guy you like really notice unless he's catching lobs or whatever. But yeah. So Capella, or why am I talking about Capella? I don't even know how I got into Capella. What am I talking about? Blazers. Blazers are playing well. They beat a relatively healthy Houston team, shut down James Harden, moving the ball a lot better too. So I think their offense has a chance against the Lakers. Where otherwise, I'd say we're gonna get shut down because you gotta move the ball against them with their size and athleticism. But the Lakers are gonna play inspired, so I could see them blowing the doors off Portland. It's going to be really interesting to watch this game play out. I hope Portland is competitive. You know, Kobe would have wanted. I don't know. I feel like going into this game, we're the bad guys, but I still want us to win. You know, we can play the bad guy role for a night, you know?
The thing is, Portland doesn't have a lot of, or I don't think they have any bad guys though. I mean, I guess you could maybe say Ariza is, but like,
yeah, not in this game either, because he was a former Laker, won a championship, and was really good with Kobe. So,
but People's Mix is saying AD is out. Is that true?
and then he just said 80 is questionable liars. So I guess he's calling himself a liar. I'm so confused. He said, why TF did you bring up Capella? Because I was talking about Portland beating a healthy Houston team, and then I remembered, Clint Capella didn't finish that game, so that's why.
Looks like pretty much everyone's taking the Blazers except for People's Mix.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. Is AD like, I don't know, man. I'll search on Twitter because he said 80 is out, then said 80 is questionable, then said something about him playing or something. Yeah, I don't see anything about him being out, so
I think he's one of those guys who's always like questionable or on the injury report, but he usually take it. I'm taking the Blazers.
It says he's available to play Friday, so that tweet was tweeted out 5 hours ago, so I don't know. I don't know where the confusion is. AD is playing tonight. But yeah, Eric's taking the Blazers. There we go. That is picks against the spread. Moving on, quick little segue. Today is the last day that you can donate to Patreon and get on a live stream for next month. So there's a link down in the description if you want to get on one of our live streams. It's $10 a month or more. I'll also be doing maybe a giveaway or two next month. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but that's a definite possibility. And that would be a giveaway where if you donate $1, you could be entered. So if you want to appear on the podcast, we could get you like a cool overlay, do some more stuff with this overlay, do some like 3-person layouts. Like if you have a good camera, we could get your Skype cam on it, or we could just do your audio like we did before with Eric Kleiser. But it's up to you guys. If you guys want to donate, help me out and appear on the channel. Link is in the description for you. Anyway, back to this beautiful main scene right here.
Maybe Anthony Davis is out because that tattoo on his thigh is hurting.
Maybe. I didn't set the right setting on the countdown timer. See, it's a work in progress. I got to reduce the time here. I'm just gonna reduce it to that. There we go. Save changes. Hopefully it changed. All right, there we go. Boom. As good as always. That looks like an ESPN type of graphic. That's kind of what I was going for. So what are we going to talk about first? We're going to talk about Nurkic. We're going to talk about the games tonight. We're going to talk about All
Let's get
Stars.
Nurk out of the way
All right.
first.
So Nurk suffered a calf strain. People respect. I don't know. Eric was telling me, oh, he might not play this whole entire season.
It's not the leg he broke. It's in the other leg.
Yeah. Kind of not. I don't know. It's not surprising with a guy being out that long, and then maybe. I don't know. I hope it wasn't from him favoring his leg. I hope it was just a fluke thing because I don't want him to be favoring one leg for obvious reasons. But, who knows? We'll have to wait and see, how bad the strain is. But the timetable for strains like this is it's kind of all over the place, 7 to 10 days, 3 weeks, a month, maybe even 2 months. It's all over the place, but Nurkic is traveling to Los Angeles with the team tonight. Because he's traveling to Los Angeles, that leads me to believe it's not that bad. I don't think he'd be traveling walking on it if it was a bad calf strain, but he didn't have crutches or anything. So maybe that's just me being optimistic, but the timetable for him at this point is hopefully he can return first game after the All-Star break. That's still 22 days away. So that's still over 3 weeks away. So hopefully his calf is fine by then. The thing is, if his calf is fine by then, his leg should be fine. He should be ready to go, and go out there and not have a minute's limitation. The only reason he would have a minute's limitation is if they're worried about him, not being up to par physically, in terms of just that's the thing, the calf strain he sat out for a while. That might have been why it happened, so they might limit his minutes for just to be cautious in that regard, but we'll have to wait and see.
Well, what I'm hoping is just he was working out and it just kind of felt funny or something. It might not even be a calf strain. It just might have been that his calf was kind of sore or something he's obviously doing stuff that he hasn't done in a while. So as he continues to ramp up his workout, it's pretty normal to have little things like that. So I'm hoping they're just making it so they're being extra cautious with him, which is why I'm worried about if it lingers on, them just shutting him down this season. I hope they don't. I'm just worried that that's going to be the reason. And I told Tori this before we came on, that I can see it now next Thursday. They shut Nurk down for the season and justify that as being the reason why they keep Whiteside, because Nurk's not going to play this year. I hope that's not true. And the fact that he went on the trip today, I'm hoping that's a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm going to be mad if that's...
I will rant. I will have an epic rant, man. I will actually be as angry as I've been on stream ever if we don't end up trading Whiteside, man. We have to trade Whiteside. It's not a question of should we trade Whiteside or should we not. We got to trade Whiteside. And I've explained the reasons why. Some people don't agree with them. Some people don't understand them. But I've explained the reasons. So if trade deadline comes and we don't do a single thing... If my trade deadline stream isn't all that entertaining because we don't do a thing, that would suck. But then, more importantly, for this team's sake, for this franchise's sake, we need to trade Hassan Whiteside. We don't need 4 centers when healthy. You know what I mean? Even if Nurkic sits out a couple weeks past the All-Star break, I still think we're the favorites to get the 8th seed. By keeping Whiteside, I don't think we're going to get the 7th seed. I don't think having Hassan Whiteside or not having Hassan Whiteside affects whether or not we get the 8th seed or the 7th seed or the 9th seed. You know what I mean? I think we get the 8th seed regardless. And I think by that, by the playoffs, if we're really trying to have an upset, then I think Nurkic will be ready by then. Scott will be ready by then. Collins will be ready by then. We won't need Whiteside, man. The thing is, we can get a big back for Whiteside too if Nurkic is out for a while. Maybe a Gorgie Jang type trade. Maybe Gorgie Jang, Covington, and a pick has been a favorite trade of mine. I don't think that's enough for Minnesota, but that would get you a big back. You know what I mean? So they have options. They don't have to hang on to Whiteside even if Nurkic is out for the entire year. But I feel like... I feel like they're going to do it, I feel like Scal's out, he's going to be reevaluated. Collins is out. Nurkic, Nurkic with the setback. I feel like that's just going to be the justification for them to hang on to us on Whiteside for another 2 months, and then Whiteside leaves in free agency and we're kind of screwed.
Yeah, I hope that's not the case. I don't know why people are discussing whether you're better than other YouTubers in the chat.
What do you? Yeah, of course I am, man. What YouTuber, doing a live stream covering basketball like we are with these types of graphics? And I don't even have I was gonna put a background animation since the background's all black, but I didn't get around to it, so I haven't even completed this whole thing. By the way, merchandise available at blazersuprise.com/merch. That should be able to go through. If you get an error message or something, let me know. But finally got a site up. I gotta update the homepage, and I gotta update a couple things with it, and it's just a bare bones site just for pretty much merchandise, but it's up. So if you want to be the first person to buy a Melo hoodie, it's only going to be available 3-4 days, and then after that I'm going to take it off the shelves. The only reason I'm doing that is because Melo's people tend to send cease and desist letters, so I'm not trying to deal with that, you know what I mean? So that's why it's only a limited edition thing. Different colorways, different stuff like that. If there's any problems with that, if you try to, and if there's any problems, let me know, because I've never done this before, so it's just kind of a work in progress. You gotta bear with me, but I'm using this to test out the possibility, to test things out, so that when I drop other stuff, it should be smooth. Should be able to announce it formally. I'm gonna drop stuff with our logo on it, which I actually think will look pretty clean. I think it will look pretty good. I had people in person in my rec league. I had somebody say that he wanted a sweatshirt with my logo on it because he thought it would just look cool. So that's kind of cool to hear. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, for sure. I had an idea for a trade if it kind of depends on Dallas still wanting another big man for their rotation, and that big man would have to be Taj Gibson for this to work. I don't know if they would take him for free because they'd still be under the tax and could use the rest of their trade exception to do it. But basically, we trade Whiteside for Portis and Taj Gibson, and then Gibson would go to Dallas, Taj Gibson would go to Minnesota, and we'd get Jang. So we get basically Jang for Whiteside and create an 11 some $1 million trade exception.
See, I'd love to create a bigger trade exception, get back a center on a 2-year contract like that. That would be an expiring next year. Could play some center minutes. I'd be happy with that at this point, because I'm worried that we don't do something like that and then we lose Whiteside and then we don't have flexibility this offseason or next season. And that's just, I'm scared, man. I'm honestly scared. Destro, or what was it? Yeah, Destrom said, Tori, can you redo the graphic and make the videos bigger? Just a little bit bigger, because I can't change the frame sizes of this graph, or I can't change the frame sizes. I can't change the dimension layout, but I can mess around with this setup. I rushed it because I didn't have a ton of time, so it will improve in the future. For my post game show, I'll just do it'll be a little bit different since it's only my camera, but I gotta figure that out. Shout out to Necron99, aka Sammy Boy. He says, get some neon for Uprise backdrop, if no glare for viewers, or red and white Xmas lights around the posters and flags. Yeah, I definitely want to. Then I'll obviously work on my setup wherever I move out to. Also, in the future, we'll have alerts pop up when you donate. That's kind of the thing I was teasing, saying you guys gotta find out. But his name is so long, it doesn't even show the donation amount or anything on the MVP graphic up there. But now Necron's the MVP for that $9.99 donation. Thank you for the donation, bro. But yeah, I'll get a cave, I'll get a cool setup and all that. Sorry, got derailed a little bit. What were we talking about?
Jason Joseph's asking, do you feel like we need to get a center back in a pending Hassan deal? I would not factor that into the deal itself. Mm-hmm. So I would just get the best possible value for that. If that includes a center like Jang, or if you do a trade with Charlotte and you get, say, Biombo or Willie Hernan-Gomez or someone back in that trade, then that's fine. But overall, I don't think you should worry about getting the center in that trade, because we still have options, especially if we did a trade let's just say we traded Hazonia and Whiteside for Batum and second round picks or something.
Yeah.
We would we wouldn't be far enough to be under the tax line, and we wouldn't really have a way to make a trade after that to get under that line unless we traded Ariza. So we'd be kind of stuck. So we might as well trade a center with that savings, or trade for a center with that savings and extra roster spot. And I mean, if we got a bunch of seconds back in a trade like that, Dallas just got Willie Cauley-Stein for free, basically. So,
Yeah.
or like with a late second round pick in the 50s. So you can just, you mentioned Hernan Gomez. There's like guys like Jonah Bolden, who's not even playing in Philadelphia this year. There's guys you can go out and get that are cheap and would fit into either the hood exception or one of our trade exceptions, since we'd have a couple of big TPEs.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing is you don't hold on to Whiteside here, man. It's like if you need a center, there will be cheap, decent, serviceable options out there to go out and get. We do have Swanigan, which I'm obviously not a fan of, but
Yeah.
we do have him, and then I do expect Scal to be back after the All-Star break, or maybe a little bit after that. He's going to be reevaluated like during the All-Star break, so we'll see what the status update is on that. And then Collins will be reevaluated like a month from now, a couple weeks after the All-Star break. So that's the thing, is like we would only really need to add one more big there, and we should be fine. You know what I mean? I don't know. And it's like I'm not focusing on getting that 8th seed and facing the Lakers in the first round. Like, yeah, it'd be cool to make the playoffs, but also it's like, we saw it years ago when we battled hard to get swept by the Golden State Warriors when we made the 8th seed the year we had Nurkic, So I feel like that's what this season, I don't know. I just don't want Olshey to hang on to Whiteside saying, oh, we got to go get the 8th seed. We get the 8th seed, we get swept, Whiteside leaves. That's my biggest fear. That's just, I hate even thinking about it, to be honest. It makes me kind of sick to my stomach. Anyway, so
Brian Scalabrine, we did not hear what Jackson Hayes said, but there's a lot of. It's weird because the world roster is kind of crap in my opinion, and there's a lot of good players that were left off the U.S. team because.
I think at the top, the world roster has like the same amount of talent,
top,
but like it just doesn't have the same amount of depth, which is kind of the case in the league right now, because you got Doncic killing it, you got Giannis killing it. You have some like superstar generational talents that are not from the U.S. now. That wasn't really the case. You had Dirk, but you didn't really have two at the same time. Unless I'm forgetting somebody, blanking on somebody. Now you got two at the same time. It's just like the depth of the rest of the world just isn't up there with the U.S. And that's kind of reflected in the Rising Stars game. But it's funny how many players are coming out like super upset about being snubbed. Jackson Hayes is upset about being snubbed in the Rising Stars game. Like, are you really? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't even realize those guys really cared to play in that. I guess it's a fun thing for them to go do, but you also had Bradley Beal upset, speaking publicly about getting snubbed. I mean, we can't say much because Dame would put out kind of a couple paragraphs. I wouldn't say ranting about it, but
Technically, it was his agent and his fiance that did.
Who did?
It was I don't know if Beal came out and said something today, but initially it was his fiance and his agent that came out and said stuff.
I saw him say something like a post-game interview, I think it was, after a game last night. But, I mean, you had two snubs, in my opinion. Two snubs from the All-Star game. Bradley Beal's one of them, but, I mean, he's been horrible defensively, has not been efficient this year, and is playing on a horrible team. And I don't know. There's nobody that made it over him that I am like, there's no way he should have made it over him. I don't feel that way. And same case for Devin Booker, who's putting up amazing stats, but he's getting screwed over because he's a guard in the Western Conference, which is super deep in guards. The only player I would have put Devin Booker in probably over Chris Paul. I know Chris Paul's team is doing better, but they're only the 7th seed. You know what I mean? Like, Chris Paul has more to work with. And Devin Booker, he's getting 27 points per game, 6 assists per game, over 50% shooting from the floor. That's an insane stat line for a guy to not make the All-Star game. I wouldn't have put him in over Donovan Mitchell because the Jazz are killing it and Mitchell has good numbers. I wouldn't have put him over Rudy Gobert because the way Rudy Gobert affects the defensive end is, he's the best defensive player in the league in my opinion, and he's been solid offensively this year and plays for a team 20 games above 500. I can't think of anybody else I'd put Devin Booker over. Is there anybody who you thought should have made it over someone else or?
No, I thought the teams were fine, and yeah, I mean, I kind of think Chris Paul deserved it over Booker, but yeah, I mean, I can understand.
Actually,
yeah.
There's another player. I thought Devin Booker should have maybe made it over Brandon Ingram because their teams are about the same, but Devin Booker's numbers are better.
I didn't see who was the non-specific position players, or was Ingram a forward, so it wouldn't have mattered?
I think Ingram was one of the last two.
Okay.
I think Ingram was one of the last two. I don't know. That's the thing. If they don't have their full amount of guards and full amount of front court players, then you can you don't really have to look at position for reserves for who got snubbed because they could have added another guard and taken away a front court player.
I thought I saw something that it was Paul and Westbrook that got the final 2 spots, which meant that Booker couldn't have replaced Ingram because he was
who are the rest? I should have had this up. West All-Star reserves.
Andre's got us. He said Westbrook and Paul were the wild cards. So yeah, it would have had to been over one of those two.
Dame, who was the other guard then? Dame, Westbrook,
Mitchell.
Oh, Mitchell. Yeah, you're right, actually. So that was their full amount of guards. So yeah, it would have had to been a guard. So you can't even say Ingram. You're right. So yeah, I mean, just kind of that's what sucks. Western Conference guards, man. I mean, we saw it with Dame in the past. Now Dame is so good. I knew as a fact that he wouldn't get left off. He was such a foregone conclusion to make the team with what he's been doing lately. I mean, I didn't even get to react to his triple double, man. Because when I came home, my internet was busted. I tried calling Eric on the drive home, but Eric, I forgot that I haven't taught Eric how to add my audio to the stream and all that. So I just tried to get home, got some Burgerville. That was good. I've been on a Burgerville. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm addicted to Burgerville lately. But came home, hopped on the internet, no internet the whole time. So that was frustrating. But yeah. So maybe I should react.
I had fun.
Yeah, I mean, Dame killed it. He was getting doubled all game, which makes his 36 points on efficient shooting even more impressive. And then he was making plays out of that double. 11 assists. I mean, it was a great atmosphere inside the Moda Center, to be honest. It didn't sound as loud on TV as it does in person. I don't know what it is with our arena. I feel like it's the difference between how it actually sounds and how it sounds on TV is greater than any other arena. I don't know what it is, but it always sounds a lot louder in there than it does on TV. It was a great regular season atmosphere, especially considering how bad this team has struggled, and especially considering their record.
I forgot who it was. I think it might have been Jay Allen was saying on Twitter that it was the loudest he had heard it this year in there.
Yeah, I mean, I got 200 level tickets, third row in the 200 level, so right by the lower level entrance baseline for $22 a piece. Nice. That's a great deal. Only reason I get that deal is because I bought it right before the game. But then also, the team has a bad record, so ticket prices have dropped. So I got a great atmosphere, a competitive game that the Blazers won against a good team, and I got good seats like that for only $22. It was it was awesome. It was perfect, man. If you're looking for a discount on tickets, promo code Blazers Uprise on SeatGeek, save $20 off your first purchase. There you go. #ad. But yeah, no, I mean, I want to talk about that game a little bit right here because I didn't get the chance to go on the post-game show, and I really, really wanted to because there's a couple things I saw that I really, really liked, and I really wanted to. I keep saying really, but I really wanted to talk about them.
Wanted to.
The first thing, we're finally cutting baseline when guys drive. Okay, what drove me crazy earlier in the year was guys would drive and Nasir Little would spot up in the corner and just shoot threes. You know what I mean? And Bazemore did that too. And that's always been a thing with like Harkless and Aminu and even Evan Turner. They just sit in the corner and shoot threes when guys drove. But against that Rockets game, Nasir Little, I call it you dive baseline, which basically means you cut baseline when a guy drives. You go to the rim because the thing is, Nasir Little's guy was helping on to Dame when Dame drove because they would have two guys up on Dame on the pick and roll. Dame would get past both of them, and then Nasir Little's guy was having to help over. And Nasir Little could have either sat in the corner and shot spot up threes, and he's not a good three-point shooter, or he could have done the right thing, which he did, and cut baseline and get wide open dunks. And that's something I've been asking for all season long. It's like, why do we have these mediocre to poor three-point shooters sit in the corner and jack threes? That was a complaint of the coaching staff for me. Is like, you should be on these guys. Like, cut, dude. Don't sit in the corner, man. Dame attracts two defenders 30 feet away from the rim in the pick and roll. If he can get past them, there's no way they should stop us. It should either be a layup for Dame or they help on to Dame and it's a layup for somebody else who's cutting to the rim because his guy is leaving him. So I loved seeing Nasir Little cut to the rim, get some dunks. It was just perfect offense. That's always been a problem with us too, man. It's just Aminu and Harkless just sit there in the corner shooting threes, and people say, "Oh, well, those guys just don't shoot well enough from there for us to be successful." It's like, well, they don't have to shoot from there. They could cut baseline and get dunks. But
they just miss shots though.
Yeah, no, they just miss shots. We just need better forwards. That was the whole narrative. Nasir Little, he's not a good 3-point shooter, but look what he did. He cut baseline. It was perfect.
Yeah. Jake was telling me after the game that it only works though if Dame gets trapped or doubled, and I was like, okay, well, I'll take my chances with Dame not getting doubled or trapped right now then, if that's the case.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I don't think it only works when Dame gets trapped and doubled. There's a lot of times where a guy needs to cut that doesn't cut. It's not just situations where Dame is running a pick and roll and attracts two defenders up top and then drives the lane and somebody needs to cut baseline. There's other situations where guys should be cutting and they aren't cutting. And that's why I've complained about this at times this season. That's why there's games where we shoot poorly from the 3-point line. Everybody's cold, but we keep jacking up threes because guys don't cut properly and they sit there behind the 3-point arc and they just shoot threes. And after the game, oh, well, we just got good shots. We just didn't hit them. It's like, well, these guys should be cutting when the opportunity is there and getting to the rim and getting good shots around the rim instead of settling for threes when the 3-point shot isn't falling. And look what happens when we cut, man. Look what happens when we cut. A lot of times our cutters actually drew attention, which left like Gary Trent completely wide open. It would leave good shooters wide open because a guy would cut to the rim and draw some attention because even though Nasir Little's a rookie, he's raw, he's not experienced. You still don't want that guy cutting the ball or catching the ball 2 feet away from the rim with a head of steam because he's going to dunk it on you. And that's the last thing you want to give up is dunks. So I loved that he was cutting. I love that other guys were cutting too. Ariza had a couple nice cuts. I like the way how he seems to have a good feel of when to spot up and when to cut. And I think it's just led to just a much prettier offense, better ball movement, and just a more productive team on that end of the floor.
I forgot who it was, but several people in chat were pointing out that at timeouts and stuff, Ariza was talking with like Trent and Little, like pointing to where they need to be and to go and stuff. So it's probably really helping to have a vet like that. And like I said, that cutting hasn't been coached out of him yet. So
yeah, I mean,
it's really looking nice
Ariza
right now.
Ariza, I'm just gonna guess, but I'm guessing Ariza was telling Little when he should cut, where he should cut, that type of thing, because Little was in the right spots, finding the ball close to the rim, getting dunks because of his cut and because of his movement. That's the thing. That's been a complaint of mine, man, is just guys don't move properly, cut properly. It's been a problem before this year, so it's not an injuries thing. So now I'm just happy that they're finally cutting, finally moving. The offense looks a lot better, and it's a lot easier to watch. It's a lot more aesthetically pleasing. I'm actually enjoying watching this team again. It's nice. Still got to work on the defense. But at least the offense isn't just a bunch of isolation and one-on-one play right now.
Yep. The offenses look great the last 3 games since Ariza
Yeah.
came on.
I mean, we'll see how it looks tonight against the Los Angeles Lakers because that's a litmus test for this offense. If we can
Yeah.
still play the same brand of offense against the Lakers, that'll be impressive, and we'll have a chance to win this game. But the Lakers are the type of team that we tend to regress
We go
against
back, yeah.
and regress to isolation and not moving the ball and standing around. And isolation won't work against the Lakers. It's not going to work against the Lakers. Also, JaVale McGee, Anthony Davis are good mobile pick and roll defenders.
Yeah.
So Dame might not be able to get going like he has the past 4 games because he's been on an absolute tear. He drops 61, then 47, then 50. Then the one game he doesn't drop a scoring total that high. He gets a triple-double. He has 36, 11, and 10. But I don't want us to have to rely solely on Dame to get 40, 45 points because it's going to be very difficult for him to get that volume of scoring against this Lakers team. So we need to play team offense. We need to move the ball. We need to get out and run. We need to cut when the opportunity's there. We need to hit open shots when the opportunity's there. That's how we can beat this Lakers team.
Yeah, I just want to see, like you're talking about, them not regress on offense. Defensively, it's a really tough matchup. We don't have really anyone to guard LeBron or AD, so it's not going to be quite as evident if we're playing better on that end of the court because we just don't match up well.
Yeah.
But the offense, there's no reason why we can't keep playing the way we played the last couple games. Brian Scalabrini's asking next time if we could put a graphic up saying who's playing tonight and who isn't. The problem with that is the teams don't have to report the actual who's playing and who's not till an hour before the game. So we still have, in this case, an hour and a half before that would have to even be done. So like there's not a lot of information until the teams release that stuff.
And then I'd have to make that graphic like right before the game while I'm trying to like finish up other things, and that we just try and cover who's out. If I'm assuming he's talking about picks against the spread, you can look up as we talk about the game. You could look up who's out. You know what I mean? Like easily. You could do that quickly. You know what I mean? And vote based off that. A lot of times I don't even know who's out, and I'll vote. And Eric will vote the night before to get me his picks like the night before. So you guys have the advantage against us in that regard.
Tori's wants to make the graphics the night before, so I send him my picks not even knowing who's playing. And then you got people in chat looking up the scores ahead of time.
I know. So chat has the advantage over us. And I'm not even complaining about that because chat hasn't transferred that into beating either of us yet. Now they're tied with me, but I mean, you look at tonight's game, I don't know who they voted for, but the Nets are up 11, the Raptors, my double down pick, is up 10 right now. Mavericks aren't looking too good, but overall, I mean, I think I'm gonna have a good day today too. So this Lakers game tonight though is gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be kind of sad. I don't even really want to talk about, like, I don't know. This whole Kobe thing.
Emotional, yeah.
This whole Kobe thing, man, it's one of those things that it's like it's just everywhere, you know, and it should be everywhere. You know, I'm not saying it shouldn't be everywhere, but it's also something that's just like, dude, it's like there's just stretches where it's just like, man, I don't even want to think about this because it's so depressing. Like it's so sad. And I log on to social media, notifications, a bunch of stuff is just Kobe. I go to Rec League Tuesday, Thursday, everybody talking about Kobe, and you know what I mean. Like it's just like, oh man, it's just tough on me. Like I get a headache like thinking about it because it's sad. Like it's so sad, and it's like I don't know. Like, I just don't want to be thinking about it 24/7. So I don't know.
That's all tonight's going to be about too.
I know, and you know, as it should be. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna try and avoid thinking about it tonight during the game. But I didn't. That's kind of why I didn't want to like really talk about it too much on the podcast here, because that's what tonight's going to be about. This game tonight, 2.5 hours until tip off, it's going to be about Kobe. and then we'll have our post game show right after that. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I know you don't want to talk about it, but every time I see the video of Kobe after the 5th championship, Gianna was my youngest daughter's age at that time, and just him giving him a hug and her kissing him, and like, it's just so depressing. Man, it's sad to watch.
Yeah.
And that gets me every time. But yeah, just got to go out and play the game of basketball. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't really blame Melo for not wanting to go. Apparently, he had dinner plans with Kobe tonight, and Kobe was supposed to be at the game.
Yeah.
So that's rough, man.
That's so rough.
And that's why he played the last couple games. You could tell he wasn't feeling it on Sunday. Last game, he didn't seem too bad, but yeah, it's got to be tough because he was close with Kobe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't get the people that are ragging on him on Twitter and stuff. Like, I mean,
are there people seriously ragging on Melo?
Yeah, they're calling him soft and a pansy and all that stuff. Like,
I hope it's not Blazer fans.
Yeah, I hope not either.
Some people just lack perspective and don't know, can't understand what Carmelo is going through right now. You know what I mean? And God, some people just, the fact that people were like giving him crap, calling him soft for that. If their best friend died, let's see how they react. You know what I mean? Like, God, man. It's just some people just so insensitive in a way. It's just frustrating. I don't even want to. Yeah, I don't know, man. That annoys me. So, anything left to cover in this podcast, or we
no, I think we're good.
Things up. I mean, we can take maybe a couple questions from chat.
I have a couple of notes from things we didn't get to conversations earlier. So one is the center thing. There's also, right after the trade deadline hits, is when teams start to buy out players that didn't get traded. So there could be a guy like Biyombo or someone like that who gets bought out and we could pick up. And I know we're not in the best position to pick up buyout candidates last year compared to the last couple of years. But if Nurk was out for longer than expected and a center could come in and play right away like Cantor did last year, that might be an advantage we have over other teams. And then for the conferences, I don't understand why for the All-Star game they have the conferences if they're just going to pick teams anyway. Why not just pick the 24 best players and then divvy up the teams that way? If you're going to have the draft, what's the point of doing the conferences?
Yeah. No, I agree with that too. I mean, Dame should be starting over Trae Young, man. It's kind of a shame he's not starting over Trae Young. And if they don't do it based off, I don't understand that, man. I mean, if you're going to draft players, why? Just do it. 24 players, 4 guard starters, 6 guard front court players, and then pick 5 guard reserves, 7 front court reserves, and then 2 wild cards. Do it like that, and that's 24 players. Just do it across the entire league. That's what they need to do. But
I mean, technically, you wouldn't even have to have positions, because if you're drafting and you draft all guards anyway, you might not have a center on your team, right? Like LeBron could pick all guards.
Yeah, true.
And he wouldn't have a big.
Well, I mean, that's why.
So the other team would be stuck with all centers. So,
well, that's why you do front court players, because it could be all small forwards. It's I don't know. I mean, I guess you wouldn't have to do position. I guess positions wouldn't really matter, but I do like that they switched it up from what they did before, because they did 2 forwards and a center, and 2 guards or whatever. I like that it's not 2 guards, 3 front court.
I wish they would do that with the All-NBA teams. Just have 3 front court players and no. I hate how there has to be a center on those 3 teams, because I feel like a deserving player doesn't get it because it has to be a center, you know.
Yeah. Um, they could do it two guards, a guard forward, guard slash forward, and then two forwards, or a guard slash front court player, and
Yeah.
so you could have three guards on there because I think Dame is playing at the level of an All NBA first team player right now, but he might not end up getting it, and he's getting 29 points per game and eight assists per game, but he might lose out to Doncic and Harden. Speaking of Doncic, though, I think Dame's stats are about even with Doncic, which is kind of crazy to say. Doncic has regressed a little bit lately, and Dame has been on fire. So Dame's kind of caught up to him statistically, in my opinion. I'd have to make a more detailed comparison, but just looking at the surface stats, Dame's caught up to him. So it'll be interesting to see if Dame can make a run at first team All NBA. I assume it'd be Doncic though, just because his team's more successful. But we'll see where things fall at the end of the season. Last thing I want to end off with: 3-point contest idea. I tweeted this out. I don't know if you saw it, Eric, but they should do it where they have 7 spots instead of 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
4 of those spots are kind of like normal distance. 3 of those spots are 32 feet or something, deep threes. And do it the normal spots. You have 4 balls, so that's 4 spots, 4 shots. That's 16 shots, and then the long distance spots, the 3 long distance spots, you have 3 balls at those spots. So that'd be 9 balls total. That would be 9 plus 16 is 25. So it'd still be 25 shots. The normal shots, you have 3 normal balls worth 1, and then the last ball in the rack is a money ball. The long distance rack, all of them are money balls. And you do it the way it would progress is you do left corner, which is normal, and then left out at 32 feet, and then left wing kind of center-ish, normal distance, and then center 32 33 feet, whatever, and then right wing normal, and then right 32 33 feet, and then right corner, and you do it like that, and maybe you'd add 10 to 15 seconds to the clock because you just have more spots, a little bit more distance to travel, just to give them a little bit more time to get those shots off. Do you like that idea? I thought that was a great idea.
See, you'll probably be like, yeah, that's what I figured. But I kind of like the 3-point contest the way it is, except for I don't like when they switch to the money ball being 1 rack instead of the last ball in each rack.
Bro, but I don't know, with the way.
But I kind of like.
Oh, sorry, you cut out. I thought you stopped talking. What were you saying?
I like the just basicness of it and how it is just a 3-point shooting contest. But I do like adding that something like you're saying as more of a skills challenge or something part of that, not as part of the 3-point.
Man, I think the best 3-point shooters are the one that can stretch the floor out the most. You know what I mean? I think, you got a guy like Dame who can consistently hit shots from that. I think that should be showcased in the 3-point contest. I think it'd be exciting to see guys drain multiple 33-footers in a row. You know what I mean? I feel like that's, 3-point shooting is more than just towing the line and shooting from there. You know what I mean? So you could make it in a way where it's those are worth more since they're longer. I think that'd be cool. I don't know.
I just
it'd be entertaining.
It's the one thing where you can go back and look at a video from the 80s and it's basically the same thing, so you can compare how Larry Bird does against Damian Lillard this year or something, I always thought
they switched it up with the money ball rack too.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said I didn't like that. But yeah,
you'd still have the.
I don't like change.
Yeah, you hate change, bro. You hate any sort of change, any sort of idea of to anything. You know what I mean? I assume you hate what they did with the All-Star game. Then the changes they made to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's so much change and so gimmicky that I agree with that. But adding a couple long distance spots to the 3-point contest, I think would be entertaining as hell. And you don't even like that, man. I don't even chat. Do you guys like that idea or no? Say yes if you like the idea. Say no if you just want to keep it how it is right now. I want to see what you guys think.
No, I would love to have some sort of longer range shooting contest, or I like the ones where I forgot what it's called, but you have little mats all over the floor, and each like different shots, like a layup's worth 2, or a free throw's worth 3, and then like 3-pointers worth 4, and then like a deeper
Yeah.
3 is worth like 5 or 6. Like I like those kind of games.
Yeah, I mean,
Especially, it'd be cool if it was 2 people and you could have like Dame and CJ going up against like Curry and Clay and that kind of stuff. That'd be cool. But
I just feel like deeper threes are becoming more and more ingrained in the game, and especially as a Damian Lillard fan, like I don't know, I just feel like it's becoming more and more prevalent that it almost should be showcased, and I think it would be entertaining, just like something like
yeah,
fresh in an entertaining way. You know what I mean? Because it's like you expect them to make like the majority of their threes from the 3-point line, and then when guys don't, it's like but like if you put them out shooting from spots like 33, 34 feet away, it'd be impressive every time they make something like that. So if somebody got hot from there, if somebody like buried all 3 balls on a rack from like 34 feet, that would get the arena going in a way that it wouldn't get going just, if you drain 5, even if you drain 5 in a row off a whole rack at like the normal 3-point line. That's not like super impressive as like draining 3 from like 33, 34 feet or whatever. But you have guys that could do it. If you had like Trae Young in there, Steph Curry in there, Damian Lillard in there, I just think it would be entertaining as hell. That's why I want to see it.
As Jason said, it would just be those 3.
Yeah,
I mean, who else really shoots that deep?
I think.
But that would be cool. That's what they should just do next All-Star break. Just have a long range 3-point contest with those 3, and then a regular 3-point contest.
But I think you have players out that don't shoot out there in games that would have a chance at like. I mean, like, these guys are like professional shooters. You'd have guys like a Bradley Beal or a Joe Harris or whatever that could knock down those shots in a row, and then people would be surprised, like, oh wow, he's hitting from 34 feet, like. Because I feel like some guys just don't have the confidence to shoot from there in games, or don't, have the green light to shoot from there in games. You know what I mean? It'd just be interesting to see how, like, players perform. Like, oh, are they killing it on the 3-point line but really struggle back there? Or can they knock down shots consistently from back there as well? I don't know. It'd just be entertainment factor, intriguing, fresh, like still 25 shots, still relatively the same amount of points, just a little change. It'd be nine shots that are deeper, 9 out of 25, 16 shots would still be normal. So I don't know. I love that idea, but I know I can't convince you.
First P Last JL wants to know if you think the NBA should add a 4-point line.
No.
Yeah,
Nope.
see, that like drastically changes the game of basketball if there's a 4-point line, in my opinion, like too much. And I know I just don't like change, but that would like change the whole fundamentals of the game, like,
Yeah. But the argument I hear is like, oh, well, you have guys that can hit shots from 10 feet behind the 3-point line, and they're not, there's like not extra incentive for that, so it should be an extra point just as extra incentive. But the thing is, if you're able to hit shots from that deep, you're able to stretch out the defense so much that it makes it easier for you, like, all around. You know what I mean? You get Dame, if Dame's like coming off a screen at 30 feet and he can bring out a second defender to there and then blow by him, he has a ton of space to work with behind that. You know what I mean? It basically turns into a 4-on-3 fast break. And when other guys have the ball, it creates more space for them, because you can't just like completely sag off Dame if he's at 30 feet. You have to still be close to him. In transition, when Dame's like dribbling up the court, it makes guys end up on their toes. When Dame gets to like 30 feet, 31 feet, a lot of times Dame is able to blow by them, just because he's able to get them on their toes earlier than most players. And then he's able to like use the space he has to like take advantage of that. So I think being able to hit shots from that deep at an efficient enough clip is able to make things easier on the player and the entire team. I mean, that's the extra incentive for being able to like stretch your range out to there if you're somebody like Dame or Steph or whatever.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if they had a spot or a 4-point line in the All-Star game. That might be kind of
cool.
Oh,
yeah, that would be, yeah, I mean, just to see how it look, you know what I mean? Like, but like also try and get the guys to actually play hard, you know what I mean? And actually try and win. I feel like you just end up with Dwight Howard airballing like 35-footer. Or like, not, I mean, Dwight Howard's not in the All-Star game, but like you'd have like Gobert shooting. Gobert would just want to play defense. I don't know. I'm just thinking back to the past where you had guys like Dwight Howard and like bigs that can't shoot. That would shoot threes in All-Star games or whatever. I don't know. It would be interesting though. I'd be down for that. That's changed that Eric Brand's down for. I'm shocked. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna wrap up this podcast. We'll catch you guys tonight on the post-game show. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. Thank you to Necron99 for the $10 donation. That's why he's the MVP up there. Also, as I said earlier, for those of you who didn't catch it, last day that you can donate to Patreon and get on for a podcast for next month. If you want to appear on the channel next month, today's the last day for you to become a Patreon donor. So that link is in the description.
I don't know if you saw it earlier, but someone said that they just signed up for Patreon.
I'll have to check it right now because I don't get notifications. Oh, there we go. Josh Sargent, $10 on Patreon. So shout out to Josh Sargent. Josh Sargent. I'm butchering his name. He's like, I donated to you on Patreon. I'm like, Josh Sargent. Butchering his name. My bad. We'll get you on a podcast next month. I'll send out messages. I can send out messages over Patreon, so I'll do that in the next couple of days. We'll get Clyde's back on here. Would love to have Josh on here. Clyde's. Kleiser. Oh, it is Kleiser. Why did I say Kleiser earlier? Crap, man. I knew that too. I'm butchering everybody's names. If I butcher your name, that means you're that take that as like a compliment, please, because otherwise, then you all might hate me because I'm butchering everybody's names. It's always been a thing. Anyway, thank you for the Patreon donation. We're wrapping up this podcast. We'll catch you guys tonight. Tip-off's in 2 hours, 16 minutes, 49 seconds. So, gonna relax until this game. And then we'll catch you after. So we'll see what happens with this game tonight. Rest in peace, Kobe, of course. And tonight's going to be about him. It's going to be just a weird vibe during the game. But still glad to have basketball today. Glad to watch the Portland Trail Blazers today. Hope they can pull out a win, even though they would be the bad guys if they did so. So until we catch you guys after the game, we'll see you later. As always, peace out. Go Blazers.